Conflict in the workplace. It's a big deal. It really is. And unresolved conflict in the workplace is really like organizational bloodletting because it's like that because there's immediate pain, there's a big mess, then there's a slow draining while no one does anything, or worse yet, they sit around and silently watch it happen. And the results can be fatal. Slow seeping losses can't be ignored, and on the job or in the family, they can really be deadly. So we have to wake up and stop the bleeding. And whether you're with a hijackal or with a person who's just going through a difficult time or a person who's difficult about certain situations at work, you really have to think about this. And so let's just think about it from the point of view of that ancient practice of bloodletting. We might think it has no application in this wonderful world that we live in, but it did. My father's sister was only 6 months old in 1922 when a prairie doctor in Canada decided that her fever would go away if she lost some blood. That's not so long ago. I guess it is getting to be long ago. It's 100 years ago. But I never knew my aunt. She died that day. The bloodletting went on too late, too long, and no one stepped in to stop the flow. And that's what got me thinking about organizational conflict, or conflict in the home too, of course. And yeah, it's graphic, but we do need to pay attention. We're often too complacent for too long. And profits drop, anger flares, productivity declines. We're not getting along. We avoid each other when conflict is not addressed. And I remember my colleague Dan Dana wrote in a book, Conflict Resolution, about 20 years ago. He wrote, research studies show that up to 42% of an employee's time is spent engaging in or attempting to resolve conflict. Now that's some serious bleeding. Can you afford to have 42% of your time or your payroll dollars being drained in that way? More importantly, can you allow your own time or energy or creativity or passion to be drained in that way? That's a major energy leak. Think about it. You get up on a Monday morning looking forward to a great week. And as you're driving into work, you remember that last week your coworker managed to take the credit for the work the two of you did together. Whoops, big energy leak. Then you remember the look the coworker gave you across the table as she spoke of her success. The look said, "Don't make a scene. Let me have this one." Another big energy leak. You notice the feelings, the anger, the betrayal, the shock, the unfairness, and it ran through your whole body. Another energy leak. And then you begin to dread seeing her in 20 minutes. Yet another energy leak. Does this sound familiar? Sure, things happen at work. Ambition leaps over integrity. It's not pretty, and it needs to be addressed. Think back to Donald Trump's reality show, The Apprentice. Shows beginnings of cracks in the integrity shield. In the beginning, all the players were focused on their team winning. As the show progressed, it comes down to having only one person winning. So big questions show up, just as they do in the workplace. Will ambition leap over integrity? Will the dogs eat the dogs until only one remains alive? This supposed insight, I guess, into the workings of big business, old though the program is, can't translate well into day-to-day operations of the average home or organization. On the whole, people have to learn to play nicely together at work. The question is, who's teaching them? When I go into an organization where folks are at each other's throats, it's often very late in the game. Someone's screaming at me, "Fix this mess." And that usually means fix the other guy or make my life easier. And the energy leaks have turned into a flood. No one can pay attention to the work because they're being swept up by the current tidal wave of energy leaks. There's anxiety, there's anger, there's irritability, there's fear. The organization and the department is bleeding to death, and you need a tourniquet immediately. A strategy for removing unnecessary sharp objects from the workplace. So what is that tourniquet? Me, call in an outside expert, they figure. So by the time conflict has escalated to severe blood loss, you do need expert help. It's a 911 business call. Save the employee, save the company, do it now. Same thing happens at home. Save the marriage, save the home, save the peace. A manager or the CEO is too invested in an immediate fix to understand the patient's pain or diagnose the situation or negotiate a remedy. They're too close to the blood. They want to sew him up and get him back on the front lines, a kind of surgical solution. That's a short-term gain leading to long-term pain. An outside expert like myself can apply a tourniquet and stop the blood flow. And it's important to be out of the feelings mix that complicate inside help. That's why you need someone from the outside. And that puts me or someone that you hire into a better position to see all sides of the issue, mediate the issue, and ensure a solution that will be more focused on overall health and wellness of the company or the marriage or whatever. And that is the focus of the expert's work. She's not trying to run a company, meet deadlines, oversee operations, and mediate a conflict. So what's the remedy? Certainly, a tourniquet is a quick fix, but that's not all that's needed. According to Webster, a remedy is something that corrects or counteracts a disease or condition. That's where the really progressive, successful organizations shine. Because workplace conflict, as I said at the beginning, can have very high cost. There's a huge increase in employment lawsuits. In the mix of wrongful termination, discrimination, and sexual harassment, and all the little slights and disputes and squabbles and power struggles leading up to them, you have a recipe for low morale, increased absenteeism, and downturned productivity. Then add the tendency of people to rush to court. Your workplace then is filled with fear, and the courts are teeming with litigation. Talk about a major energy leak. So the damage is done, the tourniquet's in place, the pressure's off. This is a dangerous stage because you might drift off into unconsciousness. You think the problem has been abated, and you turn your attention to other urgent things. But wake up! The problem is still there. The wound is still seeping. No healing is taking place. Wherever people work together, conflict arises. Proactive conflict management and communication training is the preventable solution. That's simple. If your organization is thinking that such training is a waste of time or money, think about that early statistic. 42% of an employee's time spent, or wasted if you like, engaging in and attempting to resolve conflict. Can you possibly afford not to train your people? Of course not. And the sooner the better. Be proactive. Train all your people at once? Although it's the best solution as it creates a level playing field of skill development and it provides structured opportunities to discuss the issues, it's not always possible to shut down your operation. So if that's true, train them all within a very short period of time. Don't leave anyone at a disadvantage because of lack of training, and that includes all of your top people. Bill Gates said that education is the best preparation for being able to adapt. So educate yourself, educate your people, educate your relationships, because you don't have 42% of the expertise, the experience, the energy, the time, and the creativity to lose every day. So that's why unresolved conflict can be bloodletting, and I hope that you will not engage in it. For more information, go to forrelationshiphelp.com. This is Dr. Roberta Shaler, the Relationship Help Doctor. Talk soon.